friends, how are you today? I'm back. I went on vacation last week and I needed a reset because you know how life gets. Life gets so challenging. Sometimes you just need that quiet moment for yourself to recharge, reset, focus on you, and it felt so good doing that. It just felt so good. So, today's topic, I want to talk about a huge difference between a widow versus a divorcee. I want to share a story with you guys. I can never forget this story, and I want to share with you guys. Um, I when I met this person, I was the beginning of my grieving journey. I was a new a new person grieving, and she came up to me, and she also had a life challenging as well. She got a divorce, and she says to me, I know exactly what you're going through. I know exactly that pain that you're going through. And I stopped and paused for a minute. And in my mind, I'm like, you have no idea what I'm going through. I've lost my husband 3 weeks ago. And you're divorced, going through a divorce. And I'm not saying that her stress level and her life changing, it's hard for everyone to have a life changing, but it's a huge difference on that pain. As a divorcee, you have the decision to make that this relationship isn't working, so you're going to get a divorce. And there's two people, right, making a decision like this relationship is not working, and we have to do the best for us. As a widow, there is no decision to make. You lost your spouse. And that's a hard thing to process because you didn't want to leave your spouse. Life changed. There were so many different life changes that now you became single, not by choice. It's what the cards was given to you. So I stopped and paused and I said, I'm going to pray for you because you're going through a life changing, but it is not the same pain that I'm going through. And I just left. And that really resonated with me because it's not the same pain. I'm not going to see my husband again. So you can't compare my pain with yours. You decided to end your relationship. I did not. So that's why I'm making it the topic today because there's a huge difference between a divorce and a widow. I didn't remarry. I'm still single. And I don't know how it is to be divorced. And my heart goes out to you too, but you can't describe your pain to mine. As a divorced person, if you have a family and then you decide to be part of your family of co-parenting, you have two living parents. As a widow, your kids are never going to see their father again or their mother. They just have one living parent. They can't rekindle if they wanted to see their if the kids wanted to see their father or mother who were divorced and they weren't part of their lives and they want to go rekindle that relationship, they're able to do that. As a widow parent, the child can't do that. They only have one parent that they rely on. So they're never going to see that parent again. So as a widow, you're dealing with a lot of pain. Not only as if you have a family, not only are you dealing with your grieving, you're also dealing with your child's grieving. You have to explain to them that they're never going to see their father again. As a divorced parent, you're explaining to them that this relationship isn't working anymore and that you have to now be separate, but you're going to be part of their lives. So there are going to be different life changes, but it's going to be different. You can't compare a widow life changing to a divorce. And I'm not trying to be harsh or any ways, but there's a huge difference. Really is. The grieving of a widow is for life until then. It's for a lifetime. And I'm not saying that divorcee A divorced parent or divorced person is not for a lifetime, but it's a different feeling. Um, and sometimes as a divorce, yes, you struggle too because if you're gonna see that parent all the time and you don't want to co-parent with them, you are gonna see them all the time, and that's gonna be hard for you too. But as a widow, they didn't decide to end the relationship. That was the card they dealt with. That's what life gave them. They didn't choose to end the relationship. It was just the way their life ended up that way. The other difference between a divorcee and a widow, as a divorce, as I stated before, you can co-parent if you choose to, if that parent wants to be part of that child's life. Um, they can co-parent. Now, as a widow, that's not the case. If she has a supportive family and friends group, maybe that would help her in the way, but she's the one deciding everything for that child. She doesn't have anything to, she can't pass the torch to anyone. She has to make decisions. This is what's going to be. This is what you have to do. So you have to do your scheduling. It becomes overwhelming. There is no time for a widow. Now, if you are divorced and you're co-parenting, you have a lot of me time. A widow has to make their me time. There's no such thing because now she either has to provide for her family, so now she's for the family burden, especially if that parent either was sick or been a horrific accident. It becomes a financial burden to that widow. And for a widow, you get your SSI to the age when the child turns 18, your SSI is ended. And depending on how many kids you have, then the SSI continues for the next child. As a widow, you can fight in court, and that becomes exhausting too as a divorcee, trying to have financial support for that child. Depending on that parent, if they want to have money for that child or don't. And yes, it is a financial burden as well, but it's a different planning. You can plan your financial burden, if that makes sense. But as a widow, there is no planning. She has to now figure out how to support this family without any help. So that becomes extremely stressful and heavy on that parent financially. There is no help. You have to do it on your own. And maybe divorced parents as well, as I stated before, it depends if that other parent wants to support their child or just leaves them alone as well. So financially is a different type of burden on a divorce. As a widow, you have grieving for a lifetime. It never stops. For a divorced person, yes, you are grieving, but I don't think it's for a lifetime. I could be wrong. It depends on that person. But it's easier for you to accept what's going on in your life journey, your life change. As a widow, it's kind of hard to accept what has happened to you, and it's hard to process what is going to be of your life as a widow. So those are the topics that I feel they're different between a widow and divorce. You can't compare the two. And a lot of divorced people, especially when you meet someone, like if you went back to dating, and they say to you, "Oh, I could totally relate the pain that you're going through," and I will have to say to them, "No, it's not the same pain. You're going to see the other person if you have a child or not. Unfortunately, if you can't discuss them, you see them and you're just like, ugh. But they're going to be there for that child or for the family, so it's not the same pain. Like I stated, as a widow, your relationship is chosen for you. You didn't choose that. So let me know in the comments if you feel the same way as me, as where you feel that a widow is different from a divorced person. Let me know in the comments. I would love to know your feedback and see. And yeah, so either one is a difficult life change, and you have to take a moment for you to understand the new you that you're going to experience. But let me know in the comments on what you think. Thank you for watching. Until next time. Ciao.